I used to believe that the worst kind of pain was loud. The screaming matches, the slammed doors, the tears that soaked the pillow. But I was wrong. The worst pain is quiet. It creeps in like a slow leak, flooding your life without a single drop making a sound. That's how it started, with silence. It wasn't always like this. Emily and I had been married for 6 years, and for most of them, I would have sworn I was the luckiest man alive. She was warm, sharp, endlessly curious. She used to call me at work just to share some random facts she'd read or to ask how my lunch was. We had routines, little ones. Her tea on the left side of the counter, my coffee on the right. Our Sunday morning walks in the park. Her habit of stealing my fries when she swore she wasn't hungry. But about 8 months ago, something shifted. First, I thought she was just busy. She started staying late at work, missing dinners, coming home already in pajamas and scrolling her phone in bed while I talked about my day. Texts went unanswered. Calls went to voicemail. When I asked, she'd smile faintly and say, "Sorry, work's been insane." Then weeks passed. Then months. The bed felt colder. Conversations turned into one-word exchanges. Affection became a ghost. And me. I became invisible in my own home. One night in early spring, I stayed up waiting for her. The clock crept past midnight, then 1, then 2. The house was dead quiet except for the ticking of the wall clock and the low hum of the refrigerator. When she finally came in, I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, "Emily, where were you?" She didn't even flinch. "Out with friends," she murmured, kicking off her heels. No names, no details. Just a perfunctory kiss on the cheek and a cold, "Don't wait up next time." Something twisted in my chest that night. It wasn't anger, not yet. Just a deep, gnawing ache that felt like standing outside in the rain, watching someone you love close the door. Tried. God, I tried. I planned a weekend getaway. She canceled last minute. I cooked her favorite meal. She ate 2 bites, then went to bed early. I asked if something was wrong between us. She said, "You're overthinking." But the silence only grew thicker, heavier. It wasn't just neglect. It felt deliberate, like I was being phased out, replaced by something. Or someone. The breaking point came one rainy Tuesday night. I came home early from work, laptop still slung over my shoulder, and heard her in the living room laughing. Really laughing. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard in months. Curiosity pulled me closer. She was on the couch, phone in hand, her face lit up not by the lamp, but by the glow of someone on a video call. A man's voice, low and warm, drifted out. She didn't hear me at first. She was too busy smiling in a way she hadn't smiled at me in ages. "God, I wish you were here," she whispered. Something inside me shattered. I didn't storm in. I didn't yell. I backed away, heart hammering, and locked myself in the bedroom until I heard her say goodnight to whoever he was. For the next few weeks, I became an actor in my own life. I smiled when I had to, made breakfast like always, went to work, came home. But I was watching, quietly, patiently. Her late nights multiplied. Her phone was always face down. She started wearing perfume she hadn't worn in years. And when she did look at me, it was with this faint trace of guilt, like I was a reminder of a life she no longer wanted but hadn't figured out how to discard. I could have confronted her. I could have shouted, begged, demanded answers. But something told me that wouldn't change anything. She wasn't mine anymore, not really. So I made a decision. Took me a month to prepare. I opened a separate bank account, moved my things little by little to a storage unit, and spoke with a lawyer. Not for revenge, but for survival. There were no kids, no shared debts that couldn't be divided. And then, one quiet Sunday morning, while she was still asleep, I left. I left the keys on the counter. A short note. "You stopped seeing me a long time ago. I'm just making it official." And then I walked out of that house for the last time. For the first few weeks, I didn't hear from her. Not a text, not a call. It was as if my absence barely registered. I rented a small apartment across town and tried to rebuild. Morning runs, long hours at work, dinners alone. It was lonely, but at least it was honest. Then the calls started. First once a week. Then every day. "James, can we talk?" Please pick up. I miss you. I messed up. I didn't answer. Then came the messages from her friends. She was losing weight, drinking too much, showing up at work looking hollowed out. The man she'd been seeing. Turned out he wasn't serious. Just a fling that fizzled the moment things got complicated. One evening, nearly 3 months after I left, she showed up at my door. No makeup. Eyes red, cheeks pale. "James," she whispered, voice cracking. "I didn't think you'd actually leave." I let her in. Not because I forgave her, but because I needed to hear it. I needed her to say the words I'd been carrying like stones in my chest. We sat across from each other in my tiny kitchen, a single lamp buzzing overhead. "Was it him?" asked finally. She didn't deny it. Just lowered her eyes and nodded. "Why?" My voice came out softer than I expected. "Was it me? Did I fail you somehow?" She started crying then, real raw tears that left streaks down her cheeks. "It wasn't about you, James. It was about me." Felt stuck. I wanted to feel wanted again. "And you? You were always there, always steady, and I took that for granted." Her words cut deeper than any shouted accusation could have. "You ignored me for months," I said quietly. "Do you have any idea what that does to someone? To live with a ghost of the person you married?" She reached for my hand, pulled it back. The truth is, part of me still loved her. Love doesn't just switch off. But love without respect is poison. "I didn't leave to punish you," I said. "I left to save myself." She nodded slowly, wiping her face. I know I broke something I can't fix." And she was right. Forgiveness isn't always about mending. It's about release. About letting the past stop chewing holes in your future. Months passed. We filed for divorce. Quietly, without drama. She sent me a few more messages, some angry, most apologetic. I didn't respond. Last I heard, she'd moved back in with her sister. She was in therapy, trying to start over. And me. I learned that silence can break a marriage, but it can also heal a man. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't to fight for someone to stay. It's to walk away so you can hear yourself again. I still walk past our old street sometimes out of habit. The house looks the same, the curtains we picked, the garden we planted. But I don't feel like I belong there anymore. That version of me, the man who waited up at 2 a.m., hoping for a scrap of affection. He's gone. Now there's just quiet. But it's a different kind of quiet. One I chose. One that doesn't hurt.